Dames und Herren, Meisters and Jungen, and welcome to the F1 podcast. I'm joined by David.
Hey, hey!
Might as well bring you in first. Alan.
Hello.
There we go. Yeah, it slightly did it towards the end again, but never mind. Don't know why.
That's what she said.
Funny. So, Singapore.
Singapore, the night street race.
A wet one as well.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of, could we send out like a search party to find the lost wet weather tyres? Because we appear to not have any on Sunday. We seemed insistent on waiting until they got dry enough to not need them.
That was rather bizarre. Obviously, we didn't catch any practice. Qualifying was...
Everything in qualifying was Q3, and all I'm going to say is Max.
Yeah, the fuel issues.
Oh, yeah, towards the
where he was actually some time distance up, and he got told to abort the lap.
He would have put it on pole.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I heard about that. He would have put it on pole, but then got told to box and got rather pissed. Apparently.
You think? I think the beat machine broke.
Oh, right. Was it that bad?
If you do get a chance at any point to listen to the airways,
yeah,
you will see that the beat machine. I think they might have brought the beat machine on that a little bit.
Do you reckon if it had been in the 12-hour, it'd have cost him a few quid?
Oh, I think if it was a 12-hour, then yeah, you could have made a nice little penny.
Bloody hell.
And to be fair, I think I'd be the same.
Yeah, oh, yeah. You would not be happy. I mean, it was obviously the team's screw up, not his, and it cost them all in the end, but yeah, you heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was because I did watch highlights, but then they were running just long runs, and it was like they weren't really doing the usual.
No, so the problem obviously they had is obviously because the track was damp, they couldn't. It was getting the tires up to temperature properly, which is why they were doing 3-4 runs at a time, just because the first couple of laps the temperatures in the tires just wasn't there.
Yeah.
So they had, as they carried on going, they were able to get the temperature into the tires properly, and that's how the lap times were getting quicker and quicker and quicker.
But
I said it on the last podcast that Singapore would do great for Mercedes because it's not a high speed track.
Well, it probably would have done well for Mercedes if Russell had kept it out of other cars.
Yeah, but it also didn't help that they stuck me in the pit lane to start.
Yeah, but they had to.
Change the power unit, didn't they?
Power unit change.
Yeah, but did they have to change the power unit? No, they did it. Because there was nothing wrong with the car. Are they just
putting a new power unit in the pool for the end of the season?
Yeah. They put a new power unit in now so they don't have to take a penalty at the next race.
The same reason that I take a complete new engine in Monaco every year in my game.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to simulate the race anyway, so I get it out of the way.
So it's swings and roundabouts. I mean, Hamilton done really well, even in practice. He was just constantly up there. He was quick. That cut because we know the car isn't great on high-speed tracks.
Well, we know that.
But on a lot of these street circuits where it's or of course where you don't have those high speed sections, and it's more corners and things like that. Then the Mercedes really does come alive.
Yeah, we don't with Singapore really. You don't have a high speed section really with Singapore.
Only
No.
that big long straight, and only that big long sort of like mid straight.
Yeah, where you have the DRS zone. You've got two DRS zones, so the only two straight bits. That's it. So yeah, for the Mercedes, so obviously for Hamilton to get up to third, yeah, there was that possibility if he'd done another lap, he might have got pole. You know, it was that close.
But yeah, no. The one big talking point I'm going to bring up before we go on to the race stuff is, what about all this cost cap stuff?
See, I haven't really been listening to much of it because it's a lot of, I think a lot of it's just mind games.
Yeah, are they trying to find anything they can to sort of throw at Red Bull just to try and throw them off at this late stage?
But it's not just Red Bull that's been under.
Yeah, they said there's two teams in there.
Aston Martin and Red Bull.
Oh yeah, because they're out doing the cost caps to Aston Martin, the world of good.
But I noticed, like I say, I noticed Mercedes chucking a lot of how do we put it in the law term? Derogatory comments, especially from Toto, towards Red Bull over it. Basically, he was kind of trying to slander them, which could land him in hot water.
I must admit, a bit like Alan, I've heard bits and pieces. I've not actually been keeping like up to date on every little detail because I tend not to with a lot of these off-track shite because I can't be bothered.
Basically,
I know,
what it
I know
Go on.
I know there's talks that, you know, a lot of them, I don't know whether it's fake news or things like that, but it comes up on my news feeds on Facebook and things like that, that there is that possibility because obviously it's to do with, it's not to do with this year, it's to do with last year.
Yeah.
That's the thing, it's to do with last year. If everything comes out and things like that, and Red Bull have, you know, broken whatever law and agreement, article, whatever, Verstappen could lose the championship, and it would then go to Hamilton. How much that's true, I don't know, but there's one thing that keeps popping up.
So basically, what it's all about is on Wednesday we will find out which teams get the certificate of competence.
What the hell? They're making F1 teams with CPC?
Well, it's either competence or compliance. It's something to do
compliance.
with whatever. It's something to do with the cost cap, anyways. And the two teams that had been under investigation were Red Bull and Aston Martin, not from this year, from last year, because apparently there'd been rumours circling the paddock and there'd been stuff thrown, especially by Mercedes, saying that perhaps they've overspent on this year's car.
Yeah, but Mercedes have been doing this all season, and quite often it's blown up in their own faces.
We know this, and this is what makes me think, are they just trying to focus their attention away because perhaps they've done the same? And they're not wanting to admit live on air, especially when speaking to Toto.
I wasn't about that. I was thinking more like, I mean, it's because of Merck that the floors all got looked at and changed, which actually hurt Mercedes more than anybody else, which was comedy gold. Talk about it blowing up in your own face.
And what'll happen is if there is a 5% overspend on cost cap by any team, they can lose championship and constructors points. I think that's on the 5%, or is that the 10%? It's the same rule between the 5 and 10%, which is really fucking annoying.
But obviously, if Max loses points,
then the title would go to Lewis. But
Does anybody actually want the championship to end that way, though?
no, not this year.
No, but I mean, does anybody really? I know Mercedes fans are desperate for anything they can get their hands on.
I am a Mercedes fan. We all know that. But there are certain things which what's happened has happened.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
That was last year. They need to concentrate on this year, which they're not doing great at.
No, they're not. But this is what I mean. This is how the FIA are a complete fuck up this year.
you really love shitting on the FIA, don't you?
I don't give two shits, to be honest. But to drag this up now, and obviously we're not too far from the end of the season. Max could claim his second, in inverted commas, World Championship at Japan. But that might not happen if the FIA fuck this up.
Well, that'd be his first.
Exactly. And then Hamilton will have a tainted 8th World Championship. Everybody says Max's first one was tainted. This is the exact same taint will go on Hamilton if they hand him the fucking championship because of the cost cap. Because
yeah, the Merc fans won't care. They just,
they're just fucking no. The Hamilton fans won't give a fuck. But I don't want to see championships decided on bullshit like this. Get it on the fucking track.
Oh, exactly.
That goes into what we were saying before we came on air about the fact we found out the race winner 2 hours after the race freaking finished.
Oh, that's bullshit. That is a point we will bring up and all. But it's just this whole the FIA and this Ben whatever coming out. I can never pronounce his last name, and I'm not going to butcher it by doing so. Saying, "Oh, we want to make the FIA more better, after the incident of Abu Dhabi, and we want to make the races better. We want to make the FIA as a whole better." But how much are you embarrassing yourselves right now?
Yeah.
How much are you fucking your organisation over yet again? It's poor. And don't get me started on the race director, because I will get onto that later on. And it's just, it's like, look, you want to get your shit together. You're trying to fix it in a fucking year, especially within Formula One. You're trying to fix it within the year. It's not working. Step back, reevaluate, and try again, basically.
The thing is, though, why is it taking them this long to sit there and say that those two teams have overspent?
Yeah, surely the accounts were known about.
They had an audit back. When did Horner say?
Well, surely they would have had to do all their financial taxes and everything else.
Yeah, but
in the financial tax year.
Yeah, they do, but they had another audit in August.
Don't you go bringing logic into this conversation?
Which is kind of weird, because if they had another audit in August, then that should be this year, not last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's taken them. Yeah, again.
But it sounds like it's one of them things where the financial. This is where we're getting into. This is going into the financial podcast. The financial year doesn't line up with the race year.
Well, no.
So it's which I assume could create a bit of a grey area for teams where they have to sort of define what the spending is and when it's for.
Well, yeah, this is a weird thing, because as we know, what is it? Is it April to April, real?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
For our financial year, like tax year, whereas I imagine the F1.
But
I imagine
it'll go down to what country the FIA is officially registered as being based in.
UAE, aren't they?
Are they? I couldn't tell you on that one.
I'm googling this. I'm gonna have to.
That's what
Google
it'll come
this.
down to, because the teams will always have to answer to their own countries, which is mainly UK. Obviously, Ferrari are in Italy and Red Bull are in Austria, aren't they? If I remember right.
They're an Austrian company, yes. Although the base is in the UK.
Yeah.
So this is where I don't know enough about
Right.
tax law to say how that one would work.
So the FIA governing headquarters is actually Paris.
Paris. The French. That explains a lot.
Yeah.
He glosses over that one quickly, folks.
But so maybe. This is you sort some if you've got anything.
What?
He obviously googling.
Yeah.
Please hold, caller.
So,
but it doesn't make sense though. Why now,
So-
after all this time, do
so
an audit for last year, but
Yeah.
they're doing it this year?
don't know. So the weird thing is, France's tax years runs from the 1st of Jan to the 31st of December.
So in a logical pattern, which is unusual for the French.
Whereas ours runs from April.
Yeah.
To
April to March.
Well,
April to
yeah.
March.
April to March then.
But
But
even if they sit there and do it to the French tax laws and things like that, surely that would have been done in December, which F1 season would have been finished.
Yeah.
They could have had everything they would have had all taxes, all spendings, everything sorted then.
But like I said, I think depending on where, like David said, where the teams are based, I reckon it goes under their own tax laws. So Alpine will go under Alpine will probably go under France.
But surely, after every season, each team has to submit that cost anyway.
They will do.
So the FIA, in theory, should have proof somewhere of how much each team has spent.
It's probably lost somewhere. It's probably been lost somewhere.
Left on a train.
Wouldn't fucking surprise me. And it's just, yeah, it's one of them things. It's like, well, yeah, like you say, why now? It's just,
I am a Mercedes fan. I've made that clear.
Well, we all have our crosses to bear.
we know that one.
We've had our many discussions and things like that.
We keep them around, folks, because we get a grant for it. It's like care in the community.
But I don't see what advantage Mercedes would have for this.
What, chucking the shade?
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. What's happened has happened. Leave it.
Yeah.
If they wanted to dispute it and everything else, they had the chance before.
And that's the weird. I get maybe why Aston Martin, maybe under investigation, just for the fact that obviously look who owns the entire fucking company. Look at the amount of money he's got.
Yeah, but
yeah, again, that's going to hurt Mercedes in the foot anyways, because they're one of their engine suppliers.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck? Oh. We'll find out what happens on Wednesday. We will find that out. Because it'll be made news.
I don't think anything will come of it, because I think it would throw such a shite precedent if we could suddenly change the championship 9 months later.
It'll hurt F1 badly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And the FIA will be getting there'll be fucking lynch mobs after the FIA because it'll be all bullshit.
And you'll be leading them, probably, knowing you. I can hear you making petrol bombs in the background.
Funny. But yeah, no, it's just I agree with you guys. Why now, and why do this to a championship? It's in the past. We've focus on this year's championship, and like I say, FIA need to step back in all aspects, including race directors, reevaluate everything for the 2023 season, and move on. Because I
Agreed.
noticed the whole Hamilton fucking jewelry bullshit appeared again.
Oh yeah, he got summoned to the FIA and he still had his nose stood in.
What? He took it out. He'd had it out for the past God knows how many races, and then all of a sudden, they managed to see him with it back in. Bang! Fucking idiots.
Anyway, let's get on to the race.
Because let me put this
Well,
point
there was a race.
after a fucking hour, whatever. But let me put this point out quickly. Is it not, regardless of your legal bollocks articles that they have in place, is it not against human rights for him to be told what he can and cannot wear?
No, because he's under safety ground.
Yeah.
In that case, if you're going down that avenue, then what's to stop him just going out driving his underpants?
Wouldn't stop him.
I'm not saying it'd be a good idea because we all know he bloody wouldn't, but no. The FIA
Well, no.
are letting you on their track during a race. They can stop you going on the track for any reason they want.
And I think when all these jury bollocks start coming about, they were also on about fire-resistant underwear. Because if I'm right, it was Vettel who wore a pair of boxers over the top of his overalls.
He did over his race suit.
It was just after one of our favourite subjects, which was the Grosjean crash.
Yeah.
And the whole sport went into a massive for make sure everything's on form, at which point obviously got picked up. Now, I'm kind of on to say, because I get what they're saying about the safety aspect, but if he's managed as many races as he has with the piercings in, and apparently still has a nose last time I saw a picture of him, then I think, maybe they are going a bit over the top, but there is the rules are rules.
Yeah, I know, but it is very OTT. He took it out, and then all of a sudden, because it's made an appearance, he gets summoned again. It's just like, and even a lot of the commentary team had said it's a little bit ridiculous. Even they come out and said it's a bit ridiculous.
It is.
And that was live on friggin' air.
I think the thing is, the FIA, where they've been so lax on the rule of jury, because it's always been in the article, there's always been an article about it and things like that, but they've never really enforced it. Well, that's their own fault.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, after Grosjean had his accident, there was a big, we need to tighten up safety and whatnot. But if a driver can still drive and it's not going to affect them in any way, what's the difference? What is the point?
Yeah. It's like me saying to David, right, it's like your company turn around and say, all right, well, you've got rings on, you've got earrings in, you can't drive for our company. Why you're wearing them? I get it's a little different, but still in that aspect of you're driving while wearing, you have to basically take them out to do your job. And
technically, we kind of do to an extent because of the nature of the work we're in.
Yes, but that's what I'm. It's like I'm getting at. It's even like.
Well, it's not. It's more. It's a safety aspect. It's like my dad was a mechanic. They never wore loose jewelry. He never wore like a loose chain or anything.
Well, that's
Because if that dropped down into an engine bay with a running engine and got wrapped round belt drive, you're going for a ride.
yeah, but that's a given. That I understand.
But it's the safety aspect. It's not the FAA saying, "Look, we don't like your jewelry, take it off."
Well, I'm not so sure about that. But it's a stud, though. It's a nose stud that he wears. It's not a nose ring, it's a stud.
Mm.
That's what makes it ridiculous. I'd understand if it was a ring, if it was a nose ring, but it's not, it's a stud.
You'd never be able to wear a nose ring if you had helmets on and off all the time, would you? But you get caught on everything.
No, well, that's what I mean. But the thing is, it's only a nose stud that he wears. So, and it's like, it was just the way they said, oh, well, you have to remove every piece of jewellery, and then it's the way he turns around and says, well, one's welded on.
This is where we find out Alonso's got a Prince Albert or something like that.
But fuck's stupid. Oh, okay. No. Oh, can we move? Let's move on, shall we? Fuck. Oh,
Can you tell I was bored of that topic, folks? I knew exactly how to change it in one easy move.
Oh. He knows he's done good when I'm sat here with my fucking head in my hands.
10 points.
Oh my god. But right,
So shall we talk about a race then? I hear one of those happened.
the race start, which I'll talk about.
When it started.
Yeah.
When it finally got going, yeah.
What's your views on when it should have been started? Should they have started it at the official time?
As far as I'm concerned, we've got wet weather tyres. Now, obviously, I wasn't on the ground. I don't have... But as long as there wasn't so much water that the wet weather tyres would have been overrun, which Pirelli will have this information. I don't say we had... Because we basically waited till intermediates with a tyre.
Yeah.
So that to me says there was a good deal of time before that where we could have raced with full wets.
Well, obviously, they needed the time for car prep. But you know what it? Do you know what it
Yeah,
was?
but technically you say that, but are they allowed to do a lot of prep? Because I've got the cars are in park firm, eh?
What I mean.
So are they actually allowed to change a lot?
No, what I mean by car prep is you know when you see them doing all the blowers and the dry ice.
Yeah, the standard startup procedure.
Yeah.
But they've had that plan built into the original start time.
Yeah, but that's what they meant by. That's what I meant by car prep. It was all
Right.
that they had to do. But the FIA or race director or whatever I want to call him personally, because it was Eduardo Freitas again. Basically, what it was is they wanted to do the national anthem. They wanted to please the sponsors. That's what it was. That's what this whole fucking bullshit.
Singapore Airlines, which I'm guessing was the logic behind that hideous trophy.
Yeah. But that's what it was. That's why we got the hour delay. The hour delay in the end was not because of the weather. Well, a little bit was due to the weather, but they wanted to run through the entire thing that they usually do and please the sponsors, basically.
Yeah.
But a lot of the commentators were saying, well, you didn't need this hour, because they didn't start the clock. That was the thing. They didn't start the clock at the official race time.
It's about an hour and 5 minutes we got delayed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they moved the official start time back because it was supposed to kick off at 1.
And it was 2:05 when we actually got things.
And
Well,
it was like,
it's 2:05 for the formation lap.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, so the clock didn't start counting down until
Well, to be
that
fair,
point.
as I think the commentator said, it was the one race of the year where they weren't worried about running out of daylight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were kind of worried about getting in the way of people's morning commutes, though.
Well, they didn't fit the Sky Sky Sports didn't finish their coverage till after midnight there, Singapore time.
Yeah. I think it was about 2 a.m. where they finally got the decision that
Yeah.
Perez was still the winner.
Yeah.
Well, it actually went down to the full 2 hours.
It went down to the
Yeah.
it went down to the timer.
Yeah,
in the
the
end.
race ran out, which Singapore's quite known for doing that because it's
Yeah.
such a slow race. You add in a couple of safety cars and that.
Hmm. But it was just, I get why they did it, but they had the safety car out, they had the Mercedes Benz out on the exploratory laps. I mean, some of the slow mo shots of fucking Milan, they're going through the water and how much that
The
kicks.
puddles, yeah.
Jesus, that looked nice.
Like I
but-
say, at the end of the day, we don't have all the information they had, but I still think we could have got racing sooner than we did. I really do. Like I say, because they went to intermediates tells me that they hung on. So
Yeah.
we could have used a full wedge. We could have even done the safety car start if they'd have felt the need just to control.
They didn't want to do
Yeah.
that though.
And well, they're all the better for not doing it because the result went well with them not doing it.
Mm. But it was. They could have at least done. They could have probably cut that down to 45 minutes, not an hour.
Hmm.
But not the one in charge. I'd probably do a better job.
And they like to blow his own trumpet.
Some of the decisions were really questionable during that race. There was a lot of fuck ups as well.
They have very questionable decisions. Never.
So yeah, obviously you got going.
The thing that made me laugh was obviously there was no consistency regarding virtual safety car and normal safety car. For some of the exactly same accidents on the exact same corners,
Got different results.
but you've
Yeah.
got different results.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, well, you sent the safety car up for the last one. Now you send the virtual safety car. What's the difference in the incidents?
There wasn't.
It's mind-boggling. Bring back Michael Massey.
He won't. He won't come. But that's the thing. I would.
I'm not being funny. Bring him back. Why? Because he was consistent. Okay, he had his few cock-ups, but he made the right choices.
Yeah, he did.
And that's coming from a Mercedes fan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last I heard, you guys all had his picture on your dartboards.
Why me?
As I said.
No,
he
I mean Mercedes fans.
As I said, he made a few cock-ups. Didn't say which cock-ups, and that's what I'm leaving it as. But at least he knew what he was doing. He knew it was a job role. Now we've got two.
And thank
race
you
directors.
very much. You are now seeing my fucking point.
Oh, I've never seen the understanding for two race directors.
Say, I originally thought it was going to be two at every race, which that made more sense to me than the setup
Yeah,
we've got now.
but it's not. It's swap and change. So there's no consistency. One race director will do it one way, another race director may do it another. And it's just it's pathetic.
And this is why I keep banging on about it. And Singapore proved a really good point with it. So when did we Yuki obviously did Yuki bring out the safety car or did he bring out the VSC? Because obviously he smacked into the barrier under slicks and basically
That was a VSC, wasn't it?
it was when he went into the barrier, lost his front wing and both front wheels. He did a fucking good number on that.
He brought out the safety car.
Right, so he was the safety car. one of the I get some of the VSCs will have been for the likes of the non-finishers.
Hmm.
But I think they didn't even chuck a safety car out for a non-finisher.
Well, yeah, he chucked it out for Yuki.
Yeah, but Yuki literally destroyed his car.
So he was an non-finisher. Um,
No, but I meant did he
you,
chuck it?
you see what I'm going with that bit?
Yeah, but did he chuck
These
it?
simple things do confuse Chris at times.
Yeah, but did he chuck it out for the likes of? Oh my
It
god.
was chucked out a couple of times.
Hmm.
We had a couple of safety cars and a couple of VSCs. No, I can't honestly remember which ones was for which.
Yeah, I'm trying to go back and think myself here. But there should have been. I mean, if the FIA should actually investigate their own fucking race director, and that this point is for the fact of one point they were clearing an incident. I think it was Yuki's car. Was it? No, it wasn't Yuki's car.
No, when it went, who was it? Was it Albon just left his front wing by a barrier?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
He drove off, but he just left a piece of the car behind.
And we got a VSC. There was marshals on track recovering. They ended the VSC and got green flags.
And as it looked to us on TV, the marshals were still on the track.
Yeah.
Which caused a whole kerfuffle between Max and Norris.
That's what you're calling it, is it?
That was the after the safety car got brought out for Tsunoda. That's when it caused a kerfuffle between Max and Norris. Because as you saw from the videos of where the camera's looking at the steering wheel of Max's car, you can see the two flashing green dots, which indicates green flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he sped up. Yes, Norris also sped up, but then I think in an interview afterwards, Norris was under the delta still, so he was able to get a bit more speed.
Mm.
But obviously, the way in which it looks like Max has been given,
Full
you
green.
see those full green, and then all of a sudden he sees a board that says, "Whoa, hang on, maybe not."
Well, we had this a little bit last year where we had overtaking, didn't we? And some cars were showing safety car and some weren't.
Yeah.
But wasn't it showing green on the side of the track?
No, I don't think it was.
Because I'm sure at one point I saw green at the side of the track.
No. It was, you may have seen green after that corner.
That's it. Don't forget as well, when you're looking on screen, when you see a board,
Yeah, true.
that board applies from where that board is, not from where you're sat, if that makes any sense.
True.
You can probably see 500 yards ahead, but it's like speed limits on the roads. Just because you can see a 60 sign doesn't mean boot it.
Oh yeah, we know that.
I mean, that could have been a nasty accident, no question about it.
Oh, we know that.
Oh, that could have been a Bottas Paddy Magello incident, could that?
Yeah. He Johnny Herbert it, basically.
No, Johnny Herbert's totally different. Johnny Herbert's quite difficult to Singapore, unless you can mountaineer.
But it was just... It was just a weird situation.
Well, yeah. The entire race was just weird. It's just a really strange one.
Yeah, Hamilton... restarting Russell from the pit lane was a big mistake from Mercedes.
Well, they had to because they changed his power unit, so...
But they didn't need to, but yeah.
Him then tripping over Mick Schumacher wasn't the wisest idea.
No.
What is K-Mag's what's K-Mag's favouritism with a black and orange flag?
Oh, you mean the meatball flag?
Yeah. What's his fascination with that flag? Because he seems to get it quite a lot recently.
It's something that they've never seemed to use a lot in F1. You see it quite a lot in touring cars. I guess because they're more prone to crashing into each other and having bits hanging off.
Well,
It's only his front. It's only a bit of the end plate on the front on his wing that was just at an angle.
yeah, but he got the flag, didn't he? He had to go
Yeah.
in and pit.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
'cause
And then
but then it also happened in
Hamilton got it later on.
Also, for mentioning George Russell, I'll have to mention him for the most British radio message I've ever heard. I mean, ending a message with the word crikey couldn't have been more British if you didn't while drinking tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, just genius. But yeah, you get that a lot in touring cars. Basically, it's when they get a piece of debris, a loose piece of car that they fear could fall off and cause a problem.
Yeah, and obviously K-Mag got it again.
It's generally not something we see a lot in F1 because generally the bits either fall off or are fine. You don't get a lot of this.
Well, K-Mag's had it a few races on trot.
I think it was just where I can't remember who he collided with, but it's just basically he caught the front wing and it sort of bent it out slightly and became a bit loose. So there was that possibility of it falling off and causing damage and things like that because obviously it was at the
Causing a
beginning.
puncture or something
Well,
like
yeah.
that.
Speaking of punches, there was punches galore this race.
Yeah, but they were generally due to contact. It wasn't due to like tyres failing and that.
Contract. Or
Contact.
Well, Russell's was his contact with
Schumacher won it.
yeah.
Then there was Latifi. Was it Latifi or Albon? One of them had punches as well. Because it showed you. Was it Albon or was it Latifi?
Latifi, I think.
I honestly can't remember.
It was one of the Williams that had a puncher as well after an incident.
Because he just gone. He had to do practically a whole lap on a punch on a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Latifi, I do think.
Who once again didn't finish a race.
Well,
At least he's keeping the seat warm for De Vries. That's all I can say.
I hope they don't bring in who they've rumoured to be bringing into Williams. And I can't remember his bloody name. I think
hopefully
he's
it will
an
be
American.
Yeah.
He's an American that's going to go into Williams. Or rumoured to be going.
That's
But
it. Kick the Canadian out and stick an American in.
Yeah, that'll go well.
It will till the first right corner.
But
Tell them where we're going.
I mean, yeah, obviously Ricardo was brought up again, just not in a bad way. It was just like
Solid race.
yeah,
Very solid race.
Yeah, but I meant in terms of whether he's taking time out, whether he's going to take a year out of F1, possibly go NASCAR, or whether he's actually going to get a seat anywhere.
Only time will tell.
That's it. Yeah,
To be
really don't.
honest, a good sort of move for Ricardo would be possibly Alpine, not Haas. I know. There's been rumours about him going about Haas, but no, I would rather see Mick.
Him go back to Alpine basically. I know he was Renault, but
yeah, but he has sort of said, would you go back to Alpine? And he did say a lot, like when he, I think it was it Natalie or was it Rachel? One of them, he'd said yes, he would. There was rumours of Mick. Obviously, Mick's trying to fight for his seat, and whether the Ferrari program are possibly dropping him. That's one of the rumours that he's probably going to leave the Ferrari program.
the Well, the issue is he has been outdriven by K-Mag this year.
I mean, in all honesty, this race, he qualified 13th. He finished 13th.
Yeah, but only 14 finished.
Besides the point.
He still finished. He didn't smash his car up.
He may
was-
have been a lap down, but Russell was 2 laps down.
Yeah, but
Yeah, only 'cause he made about 4 pit stops.
it was still a good. Yes, it wasn't points, but it was still a mistake-free race for him.
Oh yeah.
And getting on to what you guys were saying, McLaren were solid. Both of them were solid.
Oh, yeah, both were solid. I mean, Norris had a great race. You couldn't fault him, he,
Apart from that little incident, but
and Ricardo done extremely well to obviously start 17th and
yeah,
finish 5th. Yeah, okay, as we said, there's only 14 finishes, but still, he was actually quite high up within that first lap.
Yeah.
He had a great start. He had great, he managed to launch that car beautifully. He managed to avoid a slower car in front of him and managed to get it up there. I think he's still lacking confidence within himself in that car, if I'm honest. It's not the Danny Rick it's not the Danny Rick we know that is brave and like braking and things like that. He's not doing any of that at the moment.
yeah, but it makes me wonder if that car is a bit like the Red Bull, where Checo's car would be sort of built on Max's level, and perhaps Danny's car is built on Norris's level.
Yeah, but for somebody of Carlos, you'd think.
You mean Danny?
Yeah, but the amount of experience he's got in F1 driving for Red Bull, he'd be able to cope with it.
Be able to adapt, yeah.
Yeah, but he's not been able to this year. He's not really found his form this year with that car.
No. Which is a shame. I mean, you look at Ricardo in 2020.
Oh, even last year he was doing better last year.
Oh yeah, but like 2020 is like when he was in look at him when he was in Renault.
Yeah, his last year in Renault, he was just phenomenal in that car. You could see Danny Rick that we all know and love in that car. He was late on the brakes.
Yeah,
but we know he can do that sort of thing.
But he's just like 2021 and this season. Yeah, he just. Yes, okay, they had the 1-2 Monza, but
very unusual circumstances.
Yeah. But he's not really pulled. He's not like you say, he's not the usual Danny Rick that we know.
No.
And it's like I said, I wonder if the car is being built around
Lando, which would make sense because let's be honest, look at McLaren's viewpoint.
Mm.
Lando is more a solid future bet.
Yeah. And I think this is what some of the teams are, well, bar Aston Martin and Williams, I think this is what some of the teams are doing. Now,
we're almost hitting a generation change in F1.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of the older guard, which is, the likes of, obviously, you've got Vettel, Alonso at the top end, then Hamilton, Ricciardo, Perez. They're all, 4 F1 drivers, basically at the back end of the career.
Don't forget Bottas.
Bottas, yeah.
Bottas.
And we've got the guys coming through.
Yeah.
And this has to happen. If this doesn't happen, you get people. You never get new guys into the sport.
Well, yeah, we know that. We know this, but it's just we can't really say about Perez's form because Perez's form hasn't been there at points, but
As I will wait for us to come on to him. As I said to you guys, give us a wet street circuit, and he just for a guy who lives in Mexico, that's quite a dry, hot place. He's bloody good in the rain. Don't know where he learned those tricks, but they're doing him favours.
He had a solid race. You can't fault him.
He just didn't. Yeah, he didn't do anything spectacular, but he just didn't get anything wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, even when Leclerc was right behind him, he was still able to defend. He was able to keep that position and everything else, especially towards the end. Okay, there was 2.5. Well, it was 7.5 seconds.
See, this is what made me laugh. I read a news article that said it was 6.1, and it's like, yeah, how much are you fucking lying? Because it wasn't. It was like 7 point something seconds.
7.595 seconds.
Yeah. And once again, he took one look at a set of soft tyres and saw mediums.
Yeah.
But it proved to a degree that Red Bull has a lot more straight line speed.
He always has. Well, the Mercedes were always a straight line car. The Red Bull and the Ferrari always were better on handling. Which surprised you with Ferrari, you can see the Monza's their home track, which is basically one straight.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lovely little battle going on towards the end, with Vettel, Hamilton, and Verstappen.
Until Hamilton bitched it in the wall.
He sort of, he sort of went for the move, didn't work out, and screwed himself over.
But then again, so did Verstappen.
So did Max.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
That was a major dive, and nope.
Major dive, major lock up, straight in the fucking pits with a set of tyres.
Yeah. But, the thing is, though...
I mean, last time I saw a dive like that, it was Chris and Alan Felty. Of Miami.
It was a lovely battle. As commentators would say, 3 different world champions battling like that, though. And again, it was Vettel that was holding them up.
Yeah. But all you needed was Alonso in that mix, and it'd have been perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Verstappen did eventually get past Vettel, but then Verstappen did have fresher tyres.
And it was the very end of the race. I think it was in the intro, as Vettel said he wishes the race ended 1 lap sooner.
Yeah, because it was literally last lap.
Yeah.
Again, it proved that the cars this year, they sit there and said that they, designed and things like that to get better, closer racing and make it more exciting. But when you get tracks like Singapore, it's not the easiest place to overtake.
No.
So it does make it a bit more boring.
Well, there's a lot of field spread.
Yeah. Yes, it was still it was a good race to watch. Better than what some of the races have been this year.
Oh yeah.
True.
I think we've all said it. A few of the races this year, it's been absolutely shocking. There's been nothing happening.
Yeah.
And for cars that are supposed to be able to follow a lot better and things like that, it's not happening.
No.
So, but again, it was an interesting race. There was some good battles.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, Verstappen screwed himself over at the beginning by having the anti-stall kick him.
I don't think he did. I just don't think he put enough on it. I don't think he put enough on rev-wise.
Yeah, that's why the anti-stall kicked him.
Yeah, he didn't put enough rev-wise on for the clutch.
But Perez took first so beautifully. Both reactions time for Perez and Leclerc was exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's just that Red Bull, whether he's using that overtake button,
He obviously did my trick and made sure he started on the battery.
yeah, that's what I do. Um,
That's what I always do. Hence why I tend to find myself up the back of the AI very quickly.
but he obviously did something to give him that bit more of a boost because he was a hell of a lot quicker getting to a certain speed.
Mm.
But he then dominated from there.
Well, he dominates the wrong word because all it was he just made sure he was always doing enough.
Yeah.
Is the way I can put it. It wasn't spectacular. It was what needed to be done.
Yeah, but it just made me laugh when he turned around and said, "Oh yeah, you've been investigated for a safety car infringement. Get on with it," sort of thing. Just
leave him.
Just disappear or something like that. And it was like he did.
Yeah.
But he had enough time to do it. If that had been a little bit shorter, I don't think he would have made that gap.
Well, they were always messing. You don't know if there was still a little bit more left. Sorry, I had to cough. There might have been a little bit more left in the car. I think they were doing just enough because obviously the last thing you want to do is push too hard, make a mistake, and chuck a win away.
Yeah.
He was doing enough to keep him, because Leclerc pushed up on him at one point, but then all of a sudden just went there. He just dropped off.
I think once again, a lot of the times it's like, what? At the end of the day, Leclerc can still mathematically win the championship. So it comes to what I've just said again. There's no point pushing really hard and throwing it away. Because all you do then is make your job harder as time goes on.
Well, that's it. A lot of it's going to now come down to results from the next race.
Well, did you not hear? Was it Perez at the end of the interview? And I think it was a little slip by him, actually.
What?
Said about how it would be good to win it in front of Japan for the engine manufacturer.
It wasn't a slip. If that was a deliberate put in.
Yeah, but I just think because Honda aren't officially the engine supplier anymore, are they?
No.
I know they still have a lot of input, but officially it's an asset. I think it's early. It's a Red Bull Racing, isn't it?
It's a Red Bull powertrain.
It's a Red Bull powertrain. But the reason why he said it'd be nice to do it in front of Honda and take the championship is because Honda still do have a little bit of part.
Yeah, they're still working with them, I know.
Working with them, but they never got chance to give Honda the send-off last year because of COVID. We didn't go to Suzuka last year.
No.
So that's what he means by that.
Well, that's it. You think, when was the last time we were actually at Singapore?
3 years.
Do you know what I mean? It's an awful long time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like going to be 3 years since Japan.
All I ever think of as Japan is our infamous Japan short race.
Yeah.
Where we broke the safety car.
We broke the game badly.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't seen that, folks, look it up on the channel. I don't know if Chris is thinking he might throw a link in the description.
Yeah.
But, oh man, we absolutely gave the game a coronary. He didn't know what to do.
Yeah, like I said, it was, like you guys said, it was a good race, but it was just, in parts it was boring, in parts it was good. It wasn't.
I wouldn't go if I said, but I think at the end of the day we did see a masterclass in tricky conditions. I was expecting cars in the wall all over the place.
Well, we got that.
And we generally didn't, which is got to be a fair display from the drivers.
Oh yeah, I mean there was a few cars drifting,
Well, those shots of Max doing it on his way to the grid.
Yeah.
I think he was just showing off to the crowd.
But that's the problem with the city circuits as well. You know, it's like they were saying to Lando, avoid the bump in turn whatever it was, and it's like, well, how the hell am I supposed to do that? It's a straight circuit.
Avoid the bump on turn 7.
I supposed to do that. Well, if you take the right before it and go down Send-Off Street, then rejoin.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But it's like, how is he supposed to? Because some bits looked resurfaced.
There was some new tarmac down one of them. I remember the commentator saying about that because they were the bits that seemed to pull water more.
Yeah, I noticed they had the people out sweeping again
Oh,
when the rain come down.
Because even during qualifying, they said the track didn't actually dry until the daytime. Because of the humidity there, the track's not drying out properly.
No.
Well, that's what they said about the race. The track just never dried.
No. I mean, okay, yes, Russell was the first one to gamble for slicks.
Didn't work.
And for a long time, it didn't appear to be working that well.
Didn't appear to work.
But obviously, it's one of them things. Because there was still wet spots and things like that, it was taking its time for the tyres to get the temperature properly. But Russell in theory was the guinea pig. And I think Mercedes, and that's what Mercedes used him as, a guinea pig.
Yeah. And it just, like I said, there was mixed messages even from the drivers. Oh yeah, some like Sainz was saying, we never spoke about it. Sainz was saying, oh, the track's drying up. You had the likes of Fernando, Vettel, Verstappen, and others saying the track's not drying. It's not there yet for slicks.
Yeah, but a lot of that's down to what the driver's feeling, and I guess some are a little more confident than others.
Well, one of the messages was coming through was, what's the track like? Because I can't tell you, I can't see.
From who?
That come from a couple of drivers. They needed information about the track from the pit wall because they couldn't see the track, whether the track was drying or not, because of the way in which the tarmac looked.
It made me laugh though when it was Lando after the race, and it was like the hardest race he's ever done. I was thinking, has he forgotten Russia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Russia, they want to know. Well, yeah, maybe they didn't want to mention Russia with everything that's going on.
I thought that'd still be probably his hardest race.
Well, yeah.
Well, did you see Perez in the cool-down room? He literally got the water and just poured it all over himself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Looked like runners.
Because even Norris, there's a video going around of Norris actually being chucked buckets of water. He had a whole bucket of water chucked over him afterwards because the humidity and the heat was just so much.
Yeah.
They say that Singapore is one of the hardest F1 tracks they have to drive.
Yeah, the conditions and that. And also because it ends up being, because it literally was the full 2 hours.
Yeah.
Now, it's very rare we do a full 2 hour race. Normally the ones that have hit the 2 hour window have had a lot of interventions and stuff.
Yeah.
That one pretty much didn't, because there was no red flags or anything.
No.
Well, it's Eduardo Freitas. He doesn't like chucking the red flags out. It's the other dude that likes that.
I thought they might have chucked a red flag out once Yuki had crashed because they had to fix the barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't.
Because when I heard they were going to have to fix a barrier, I thought, here we go, red flag. And they didn't. They actually just stuck a safety car out.
Do you know why they didn't chuck a red flag out?
I don't think they would. I think if they chucked a red flag out, once they chuck a red flag out, don't they stop the race time anyway?
No.
The race timer stops, but the overall timer doesn't.
Yeah.
So if they chucked a red flag out, they wouldn't have carried on racing.
If they just chucked a red flag out, I think they were over the distance for the classification. So they could have just binned it there and then. You know what I mean? That's why they didn't want to do it, for the fact that they wanted to give something back for the fans. All them fans sat in the grandstands in the friggin' rain max and everything. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because there's no cover. There's no cover on those grounds. They're completely exposed to the elements.
Yeah.
That.
And that rain was coming down some before the race.
Oh yeah. That was horrible. You wouldn't. Yes, you probably dry. You probably would dry out, but
With the humidity, though, you wouldn't, though. It'd always just stay wet and sticky.
yeah,
And
you'd be a bit damp, wouldn't you?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, we had the rain, you had the lightning as well. And I think that's part of the reason why it's delayed slightly because of the lightning that was around.
Well,
No, that was the fireworks, you clown.
No, there was actually lightning.
well, if they are gonna hold a bloody F1 race in nearly monsoon season.
Well, no, we've changed that. We used to hold the Brazilian Grand Prix right in the middle of the rainy season, and wondered why we were just out boating half the time.
But I think, as they were saying it beforehand with the rain, I think they didn't want another Monaco.
No, they didn't want another Spa. You
Didn't
mean?
want of a Spa.
And Monaco this year.
Oh yeah,
Because they
Yeah,
had the downpour.
I think it was Spa they were trying to avoid a situation where they did 2 laps behind the safety car, called it a race, went home, and the crowd rioted.
But obviously with Monaco, you had that lightning and everything went down.
Oh, when the power outage, you mean?
Yeah. With the rain and everything else. They didn't want another Monaco scenario.
I think the Japanese or the Singapore track was probably had a lot of backup generators. Within the area it was built, I imagine there's a lot of backup generators that would have been used.
Yeah.
But we've been rambling on for long enough. I think
we don't ramble.
Have any of you guys got any closing remarks you want to make?
I just want to put a question to you too, and I think I can already predict the answers from both of you. But do you think Max will do it in Japan?
I don't know. I think a lot of it's going to depend on weather.
Yeah.
And it depends on the car at the end of the day. It's how far are we going to adapt to it? Because again, it's another track that suits. Seems like Mercedes can come in and spoil it because, okay, you've got one really decent straight, but a lot of it's all twists and turns.
Yeah.
So Mercedes could actually, again, be another team that comes in and spoils it for them.
Yeah, well, at this point, they have no ability to influence the championship. The ability to win it, but they can still influence it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's no chance they can win any of it, but again, they can stop Max from getting anywhere.
As obviously Red Bull fan, I'm gonna say I don't know, because Max has to score. Max has to have a gap of 110 points, I believe.
So is it 110? I have 112 in my head, but I could be wrong.
It could be 112. It's either 110 or 112 points. Leclerc has to finish down the order. Perez has to even finish down the order for Max to clinch this title.
Yeah.
Japan. So it was damage limitation at Singapore, but I think it's about 112 point gap he's got to have.
I have 100. I could be wrong there. I'm ready to be told I'm wrong, but I haven't made this 112.
It could be either 110 or 112, but we'll go on that number. We'll go on one of them numbers. But yeah, that's like I say. Leclerc's
It depends if Ferrari turn up.
That is a big question of it. Yeah, I'll give you that.
It depends if what?
If Ferrari turn up.
Well, yeah, that's true. But we'll see. I don't know.
I'm loving these concise, definitive answers from these guys, folks. I really am.
No, but I'm just wondering, when can Red Bull clinch the constructors? Can they clinch the constructors as well at Japan?
I don't have those numbers to hand.
Because no, it's just going back to what Perez says. What Perez said. Because Red Bull are 576 points. Ferrari are 439 points.
I think constructors they may be able to clinch in Japan, yes. But it's just whether Max can clinch the World Championship there. I don't know. Like I said, it depends on if Ferrari turn up, and it depends on how that Mercedes does as well. That as I said about beforehand about Singapore, how well Mercedes can handle that track because it's a track suited for them. Suzuka is exactly the same. It's a track that's suited for Mercedes because it's not all about the speed.
Well, we'll have to see what happens, really. If I'm honest. Because, we can sit here and say yes, no, don't know.
Maybe I don't know. Can you repeat the question?
But chucking your own question quickly then. Chucking your own question at you, David. Do you think he can do it?
I think it's possible. I think it's unlikely, but I just think the way this season's gone so far, I can't see it working perfectly enough. It's something like he has to win and Leclerc has to finish lower than 8th or something like that, isn't it?
Most probably.
Don't know.
I'm sure the team would like to do that, as you say, sponsors and engine suppliers. Home Grand Prix, but I'm sure we'll be here in 7 days discussing it.
We will be. So,
and we'll be finding out whether the one, it'll be his second World Championship or his first.
Well, depends when they release the statement about that.
Yeah.
Depends whether whether they deliver that Wednesday or not. But I'm sure we'll find out because I'm sure that there'll be a big thing about that when it comes to race coverage.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna end this one here. So thank you for joining us. Thank you to you two for joining me again. So don't forget to like what?
What?
What are you gonna say?
Say anything.
Oh, sound like you were gonna. Never mind. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitch. All links are in the description. And we shall see you next time. So until then.
Adios, amigos.
So long, folks.
Goodbye for now.